In spite of everything, the offer is tempting, and I'm a little afraid of leaving Oria. I don't want to leave Xander and Em. I don't want to leave the places that hold so many memories of grandfather. And most of all, I don't want to leave this city and my burrow because they are where I found and loved Kai. But he's not here anymore. I have to find him somewhere else. The prisoner's dilemma. Somewhere Kai keeps faith with me and I can do the same for him. I won't give up. No, I say clearly. I thought you'd say that, she tells me. But I hear the disappointment in her tone, and I suddenly want to laugh. I want to ask her if it ever gets tedious being right all the time, but I think I know what her answer would be. So what is the final predicted outcome? I ask. Does it matter? She smiles. It's what will happen, it's what you'll do, but I'll tell you if you'd like. I realize that I don't need to hear it. I don't need to hear anything she has to say or any predictions she thinks she can make. They do not know that Xander hid the artifact, that Kai can write, that grandfather gave me poetry. What else doesn't she know? You say you planned this all along, I say suddenly, on instinct, acting as though I want to be certain. You're telling me you put Kai into the matching pool yourselves. Yes, she answers. We did. This time, I look right at her when she speaks, and that's when I see it. The faintest twitch of muscle in her jaw, a slight shift of her eyes, the smallest ring of performance in the tone of her voice. She doesn't often have to lie. She's never been an aberration, so this doesn't come easily to her. She hasn't had as much practice. She can't keep her face perfectly still the way Kai does when he's playing a game and he knows what he has to do, whether it's better to win or lose. And although she's been told how to play, she doesn't know exactly which cards she's holding. She doesn't know who put Kai in the matching pool. If the officials didn't, who did? I look at her again. She doesn't know, and she isn't listening to her own words. If the almost impossible happened before, my being matched to two boys I already knew, then it can happen again. I can find him. I stand up to leave. I think I smell rain in the air, and even though there isn't a cloud in the sky, and I remember, I still have a piece of Kai's story left. Chapter 31. Xander sits on the steps of my house. It's a familiar place for him to be in the summer, and his position looks familiar too. Legs outstretched, elbows resting on the step behind him. The shadow he casts in the summer sun is smaller than he is, a darker, compacted version of Xander next to the real one. He watches me as I walk up the path, and when I get close, I see the pain still there in his eyes, a shadow behind the blue. I almost wish the red tablet had wiped away more than the past 12 hours for Xander, that he didn't remember what I had told him, how different it ached, almost, but not quite. Even though telling the truth has caused us both hurt, I don't see how I could have given Xander anything different. It was all I had to give, and he deserved to have it. I've been waiting for you, Xander says. I heard about your family. I was in the city, I tell him. Come sit by me, Xander says. I hesitate. Does he mean this? Does he want me to sit by him, or is he helping me put a show on for whoever might be watching? Xander keeps looking at me, waiting. Please? Are you sure? I ask. Yes, he says. And then I know that he is. He's in pain. I am too. It strikes me that perhaps this is part of what we're fighting to choose, which pain we feel. Not much time has passed since the match banquet, but we are different now, stripped of our fancy clothes, our artifacts, our belief of the match system. I stand there thinking about this. How much has changed? How little we knew. You always have to make me speak first, don't you? Xander asks, a hint of smile on his face. You always win our arguments in the end. Xander, I say, and I sit down and slide right next to him. His arm goes around me, and I put my head on his shoulder, and he bends his head to rest on mine. I sigh, so deep it's almost a shudder, at the relief I feel, at how good this is to be held like this. None of it for society, watching always. It's all real for me. I'll miss him so much. Neither of us says anything for a moment, as we look out at our street together one last time. I might come back, but I won't live here again. Once you've been relocated, you don't return except to visit. Clean breaks are best, and I will make the cleanest break of all when I go to find Kai. That is the kind of infraction that no one can overlook. I heard you leave tomorrow, Xander says, and I nod, my head moving against his cheek. I have to tell you something. What is it? I ask. I look ahead, feeling his shoulder move under the shirt of his plainclothes as he shifts position slightly, but I don't move away. What will he tell me? That he can't believe I betrayed him? That he wishes he'd been matched with anyone but me? Those are the things I deserve to hear, but I don't think he'll say them. Not Xander. I remember what happened this morning, Xander whispers to me. I know what really happened to Kai. How? I sit upright, look at him. The red tablets don't work on me, he whispers, soft into my ear so no one else can hear. He looks down the street toward the Markham's house. They didn't work on Kai either. What? How is it that these two boys who are so different are connected in such unexpected deep ways? Maybe we all are, I think, and we don't know how to see it anymore. Tell me. Xander still gazes at the little house with the yellow shutters where Kai lived hours ago, where Kai watched and learned how to survive. Xander taught him some of that without knowing it, and perhaps Xander has been learning from Kai too. I dared him to take it once, a long time ago, Xander says quietly. It was when he first got here. I acted friendly to him, but inside, I was jealous. I saw how you looked at him. Really? I don't remember this at all. But suddenly I hope Xander's right. I hope part of me fell in love with Kai before anyone else told me to. It's not a memory I'm proud of, Xander tells me. I asked him to come swimming with me one day, and then on the way I told him I knew about his artifact. I knew about it because once, one burrow over, I was coming back from taking something to a friend, and I caught Kai using it, trying to find his way home. He was so careful. I think it was the one time he got it out, ever, but he had bad timing. I saw him. This image almost breaks my heart. It's another side of Kai I haven't seen before. Lost, taking risks. As well as I know him, as much as I love him, there are still parts of him I don't know. It's that way with everyone, even Xander, who I never could have pictured being so cruel.